everybody, how you doing? I'm here on my Prairie Girls 71 channel, and I just want to talk about my experience at the cast reunion. I think that it was a great cast reunion. There were some that I wish would have been there that weren't, but other than that, it was great. From what I understand, 5 years ago, they had it where they had 3 different spots where they were having autographs, and they had it where it was just one line, and then as you went through, you went past all 3, or however many there were, 2 or 3, 4, whatever there was at each of the spots. From what I understand, that was kind of had long lines, really long lines. So what they did this time was they actually had them all in one area. They had them all at the park in Walnut Grove, and they had individual lines for each of the cast members. So, for example, if you wanted to go to Allison's line, you could go Allison's line, and then you could go over to Wendy's line, or Sydney's line, or Dean's line, or whatever, you know. Allison and Dean seemed to be the ones that had the longest lines. And then Wendy and Charlotte, pretty much, I believe, after Dean and Allison. There was a few times where what you can do is you could only do 2 things per visit. You know, through time in line, through your chance in line. But you could go and do it where you got 2 things signed, and then you go to the back of the line, you go back to the back of the line, and then you come through again. You could do that as many times as you wanted to with one person, with one cast member. I did Allison like 3 times. I was in her line. I was only in Dean's once because I only got 1 thing autographed by him this time, because I had actually met him 2 years ago. It would be 2 years next month. In August, that my mom and I went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, and I met Dean and Lucy Lee. So I got some stuff signed there. And there is actually a place right across the street from where I believe it's the VFW, or the, you know, the where you can get some good food. You can get either, I think they had brats or hot dogs, and you can get drinks, of course, and that's right across the way. That's right across the street from the, and then there's 2 restaurants. I did not go to the Walnut Grove Bar and Grill. I did go to Nellie's twice. Believe it or not, I went to Nellie's twice. I ate at Nellie's twice. Mom and I went on Thursday, which, that's another tip I suggest with Nellie's, because when we went the second time, oh, pardon me, I believe that was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. But anyhow, when we went on Thursday, it was nowhere near as busy. Nellie's was nowhere near as busy at on that Thursday that it was on Saturday. Because if you think about it, it's like a lot of people on Thursday, they're traveling. That's a travel day. because the stuff didn't really start until on Friday. The autographs were on Friday and Saturday. And they had 3 different autograph sessions, I should say. Autograph sessions. They had one in the morning, and then they stopped for lunch. They were gone for maybe like an hour and a half or so. And then they came back. They were doing autographs until about maybe like 3:30 or so. And then they took like a 15-minute break or whatever, and then they had one until about 5:30 or so. And what my mom and I did was on Friday, actually, that was the busiest day for us because we were gone pretty much the whole day. We left at like 8:30, I think it was. And because I'm like, I thought that it was going to be like so busy that there was going to be so many cars that you probably wouldn't be able to even find, you might not be able to find a parking spot if you went later. Well, 8:30 seemed like an okay time, because we actually stayed in Lamberton, which was only like 10 minutes away. It was only like 10 miles away. It was 10 miles to the east of Walnut Grove. And so, because we came from the east, so I was looking for the some place that was close to Walnut Grove, that was on the east side of Walnut Grove. A lot of people, when they I got mine almost like a year ahead of time, where I just messaged the Lamberton Motel through Facebook, and she put me down, and they were very nice at the Lamberton Motel. If you take a look at my Travels with Patty page, my Travels with Patty channel, I do have a room tour on there of the 3 hotels that I stayed at during my trip to from Milwaukee to Walnut Grove. What we did was we went from Milwaukee to Rochester. We actually went to see Niagara Cave, which that was really kind of a neat experience, except towards the end it's like you're almost out of breath when you're coming back. So I would suggest taking it easy trying to come back on the Niagara Cave. But again, with the there was enough places to eat in that, like I said, we went to Nellie's twice. We actually just had breakfast in our hotel. We brought a box of cereal, and we just did this at Lamberton because actually the hotels that we stayed at on both ends, in Rochester and on Alaska, in Rochester, Minnesota, and on Alaska, Wisconsin, they actually had waffle makers, and the hotel that I stayed at on Alaska actually had a pancake maker. I did not try that. I did not try the pancake maker, so I'm not sure how it worked exactly, but my mom and I had delicious waffles. The one on Alaska, actually, it had you could get either a cinnamon waffle or a regular waffle. So, of course, I had the cinnamon. I love cinnamon. So, and anyhow, it was a really great experience. Everybody was so nice. The cast members, the people that were the reunion staff themselves, the people at the museum, everybody was super duper nice. And at the hotel, of course, and at the motel, actually, I should say, that we stayed at. It was called the Lamberton Motel. And anyhow, and it's like, my gosh, if you go for the 50th, just talk, as you're in line, talk to people. I mean, it's like, the people in line were like so nice. Little House on the Prairie fans are like the nicest fans that I have ever met in my life. They are so nice. Everybody stayed in line, you know, and everybody was just like super laid back. And as far as, they were pretty strict about when they closed up the lines for like especially their lunch break. But I heard 5 years ago actually that some of them foregoed their like 15 or whatever it was, because there was so many people in line. But this time I think it was easier for them to actually get their breaks in. So their breaks and their lunch breaks and their 15 or whatever, 15-20 minute, they just went on the bus that they had. And I've seen a few pictures of on that bus, and that is, oh my gosh, it looked pretty cushy. But anyhow, and as far as the pageant, I loved it so much. And the Q&A, if you take a look on this page at my other uploads, I do have a Q&A from the pageant. I do admit that it is a bit shaky, so pardon me for that. I just had a grip that I had at the bottom of the camera, and so I kind of like, if I was moving a little bit in my chair, it was, you know, I'm going to look into getting a bigger tripod, because right now what I have is, I have two like tabletop, because my camera right now is on a table in front of me here, and so I'm going to look into getting a bigger tripod so that I can try doing it better for the 50th. I am really, really, really wanting to go for the 50th. So hopefully my mom will say yes. I am going to suggest probably that maybe instead of driving all the way from Milwaukee, what we should do is go take a plane from Milwaukee to Minneapolis, and then go Minneapolis down to Walnut Grove, because that's only like a couple hours drive rather than over 7 hours. And it would only probably be like maybe like an hour or so flight. You know, just do that, you know, fly and then rent a car to take it to Walnut Grove, and then go from Walnut Grove back to Minneapolis. Or maybe fly out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. One or the other. So Sioux Falls is a little closer from what I understand. But, and that's another thing that you guys can do if you need to go. Those are the main two that, main two airports. Like if you'd have to fly in to go to Walnut Grove, those are the two main ones that you'd look at. Sioux Falls, I believe it tends to be a little cheaper, and it's kind of closer, I believe. So, if I am wrong about that, you guys please put it in the comments below. So, But then again, with everything, it's like, oh my gosh, the museum was really cool. There was so many people around there when I did my walkthrough that I really didn't want to go talking too much as far as stuff. And I'm pretty sure that I probably did miss a few things in my walkthrough. But overall, I had a really great experience, and I would do it again in a heartbeat. I really would. Like I said, I'm looking forward to the 50th. Somebody asked me if I was thinking for the 50th. I'm like, if I can, I'm like, I don't drive, so it's kind of hard for me to get there on my own. If I get there on my own, I wouldn't be able to do it. But if I can get my mom to maybe fly to Minneapolis or Sioux Falls and just drive from there, I think that that would be so much better for us in the future. And I said, you know, well, we have 5 years to recuperate from from the drive. So I hope you guys find this video informative, and if there's anything else that you would like to know, oh, maybe I could tell you this. There was actually, so that you guys know in the future, for the 50th, and they did have a booth set up at the park itself, and they did have pictures for sale at that particular location. They didn't, from what I saw, they did not have as much available this time at that booth as they did 5 years ago. Because I mean, I saw like t-shirts and that. They just t-shirts, and they had a few odds and ends this time around, but it looked like they had so much more. I actually went to the museum on Thursday once we got in. My mom and I actually, we went to Walnut Grove, we went to the museum. I picked up my pictures, and if you look at my upload 2 times from that, 2 ones earlier, I believe it is, I put it, things I got signed. That has all of my ones of the things that I got signed, and that, but it's like, they did not have the bracelets available. They had bracelets available. They had bracelets that you had to have a bracelet on to be able to get autographs. And there was people going around checking. But that does not mean that you cannot be in line with somebody who's getting something signed. If you don't have anything out and looks like you're trying to get it signed and not have a bracelet on, then you're okay. If you're not getting something signed and you want to go in line with like your 8-year-old daughter or 9-year-old daughter or whatever, you know, if you just want to hang out and talk, you know, as you're going through the line with your friend, like if you're there with a friend, you know, and you guys haven't seen each other for like years, and you guys came together though to come to that. If you wanted to stand in line together, and you'd be able to, you know, you'd be able to do that. With as long as one of you has a bracelet, and you only have a couple things out, you know, they do keep an eye out for that though. So keep that in mind. You cannot have outside photos. You have to if you want a photo signed, you have to get a picture that they have there, which their pictures were $10. It wasn't as bad as what the Green Bay one was. The Green Bay, it was $25 a pop. The $10 per picture is not that bad. And the bracelets were $35 for one day or $60 for two. But if you think about that, that is unlimited autographs, though. You do not have a limit as far as how many autographs you can get. You can go in somebody's line 10 times throughout the day if you want to. You know, or whatever. 5. Let's say 5. 5 or 6 times, you know, in one day. And I mean, all the cast members were so nice. And actually, here's a little bit of a story. Nellie, Allison, I had a original script. I shouldn't say had. I have an original script. It's right over there on my on my thing here. For this one. This is an original script. See, even with some water, it looks like water damage or whatever on some of the edges. And this one is an actual script, an original script. This is a script. This is not one of them that you get like off of eBay. I got this from the Greenbush twins years ago because they had some of you have heard this, but anyhow, they were doing an auction, and I actually reached out to them on their webpage at the time. I emailed one of them and said, you know, I really can't do the auction. You know, I understand some of these are going to go for buco bucks, you know, because people are bidding on them and that, and some people, they have unlimited funds or whatever, so it's like it's gonna go up. Well, Allison saw this and she was like she was looking at it. She's like, oh my gosh, you've got the shooting schedule, and you know, and she started talking about, look at this, and you know. And when Charlotte Stewart actually saw, I had Charlotte Stewart and Allison sign this, and because so I've got I've got 5 autographs on the on the script now. Some people, because I actually, with a script, I do not, if they're not in that episode, if they're not in the specific episode, which this one is the election, and I also have a copy that I got off of eBay, Lauren Goes Wilder Part 2. That one I have signed by, I got Wendy. I've got 6 signed on that one. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I had Sydney and Wendy Lully sign this at the reunion, and when I met them a few years ago, I had Dean Butler and Lucy Lee Flippin sign it. So, but yeah, this is the one that I got years ago. So this is, it was a really great experience, and I had never been really to anything of that caliber. You know, as many people as there was there. There was a lot of people, but from what I understand, there was not as many people at this one as there was 5 years ago. They were basing that I heard somebody say that they were basing it on the pageant ticket sales. But yeah, I got my pageant tickets almost as soon as they became available. Because my mom and I actually on Friday, we had that Friday, like I said, we left early and then we did not get back until after 11:30. Because what happens at the pageant site is at 6 o'clock there's the pageant singers, and they just sing like some old-fashioned tunes, you know, entertainment for the people that get there between 6 and 7. 7 o'clock, this is only when the big reunion comes, or if there is one of the cast members there. And I'm not all that interested when it's just like one cast member. Because I think that it's easier for them to go charging buco bucks, to be honest with you. I think that from what I heard, Karen Grassley was charging a lot more than what they did at the cast reunion when she came in 2016. So, I think it was 2016. But anyhow, yeah, it was a great experience. I actually had forgotten 3 people. I cannot believe that I did that. I had not gotten any picture of Dean. I had not gotten a picture of Dean. I had not gotten any Carrie pictures, which I'm surprised that I forgot that. And Jason Carter, the younger Carter boy. So I had to go over to the kiosk, you know, the tent at the park the morning of Friday before here I am standing in line, and it's supposed to start at like 9:30, and here it is after 9 o'clock. They're still not there as far as the kiosk. We knew where the kiosk, we knew where which tent it was that they were going to be in. But it's like, they should have been there setting up at 9 o'clock already. They should have been there. They should have been set up at 9 o'clock. Because they should have known that people were going to be there waiting. Anyhow, but that was pretty much my experience as far as the cast reunion. It was really great. I had a great time. They do have a family fest thing going on as well during, usually it's only on the Saturday, I believe, of the pageant weeks. But because they had the cast reunion, they decided to have it on Friday and Saturday this year. So I mean, there was one kiosk where there was Little House. They had like dresses and bonnets. You know, they had the prairie dresses and bonnets. Well, I have one of those already. My mom made me a prairie dress years ago that I occasionally wear for giving out Halloween candy for trick or treat. But then there was a kiosk where you could actually pick out 2 sides of jean pockets, and you can actually sew them together, and it makes like a little coin purse. And so that's pretty cool. And there was a couple of other crafts there, and there was a lot of other people that, there was a place that was selling like snow cones and funnel cakes and stuff like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. and for some reason it just went off as far as the recording. So I will see you guys next time, and I'll see you out on the prairie. Bye!